There, it is now 11:24 on Monday morning. It is the 13th of June. Fulton's bean garden looks better now that I pulled many of the weeds and put many of the pulled weeds that were not in his garden over his soil to use it as mulch. And I did the same with all of the other plants, notably the corn plants. I didn't do much with the tomato plants because they looked like they're doing pretty well, all 12 of them. And I planted one cord amidst the tomato. I hope that's kind of an experiment. I think it should be fine. And I spread the rest of the wood chip mulch pile that I had here. And I went and there was a mulch pile outside of the fence, the garden, the garden fence, full of weeds that had been pulled. I went and got a wheelbarrow full of those, and I spread them out along in between the plants, for mostly corn mulch. And I picked up some of the wood chippings out of the water canals, and I put them on top of the soil of the plants that I'm interested in. Bethany's watermelon looks pretty small, and I didn't put any mulch on it. There it is right there. I did pluck away the other ones that were next to it, the other watermelon plants that were next to it that were smaller. And Megan's cantaloupe seems to be doing pretty well. It's got a long life ahead of it. It's right there, and it's on top of this mound here. And some of my cucumbers seem to be doing all right as well. Those are right here, 1, 2, 3, or maybe 4, and one that needs to be plucked. And I'll pluck this one right now. It's gone. You can't grow too many all at the same place. The instructions tell you to plant 3 to 5 seeds, I think it is. There's some more cucumbers. Next time I come here, I can do some better weeding in that area. There are some mounds like this one, that I planted cucumbers on, that when I got back, I didn't see anything when I got back from Disneyland vacation, I didn't see 3 weeks later had grown. Some of them did, like that one right there. And that one right there. Okay, so I have every other mound has at least one growing cucumber on it, but every other mound also has nothing. So we have one with the bottom one has 3, this one has 2 right next to it, and then the one after that has none, and the one after that has 1, and the one after that has none, and the one after that has 1. So it worked out pretty well because I planted them pretty close together to begin with. Now they'll have some room to spread out. That is a vine plant, the cucumber, and Bethany's watermelon as well, and Megan's cantaloupe as well. And over here in the tomato garden, I interspersed a few squash plants, vine plants growing amidst trellis or cage plants, which the tomato is. There's one right there, squash and pumpkin. I can't remember which I planted where. I'll have to just look and see when it comes, because I didn't have time to label them all before I left. So I have 1, 2, 3, four right there, squash and or pumpkin plants. I planted at least one or two pumpkin, and the rest are squash. But now that I've spent several hours upon return from California Adventure in Disneyland, it looks a lot better with the mulch spread out on the soil, the canals cleared of the mulch somewhat, even though there's still mulch in a lot of them. I put them there originally to walk on, and I'm glad I did. I was able to do more gardening today than I otherwise would have if there had been no place to walk. First thing I did when I got back is water, and the soil is so rich here and higher quality for growing than it is in the Sonoran Desert of Arizona and California, that when you water, you can't garden unless you have somewhere to go to garden. I missed the water. I took all of those weeds that were in the pile outside the fence. I put most of them in the sweet potato rows that I have here. Now I'm a little perplexed because I'm almost positive I planted at least two. Maybe the other one didn't get watered because I only see one row that actually have plants. Now these are transplants that I didn't plant as seeds, but as transplants. I bought the plants and then I planted them in the ground. And those are all along this row here. All along that row. You can't really tell they're camouflaged because the sweet potato plants are camouflaged, like this one right here, because I used all of those weeds that were in the mulch pile outside of the area and the fence to use as mulch. And so they're camouflaged, but they're all there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sweet potato plants. Now I'm positive I planted a second row, and I don't know what happened to it. Maybe it just didn't get watered and they all died. I don't know. It's been 3 weeks. So, but I have these, and this should be plenty, more than I can eat anyway. The rest I'm going to take down to the farmer's market in Junction City and sell for cash, and that's my intent. But there are at least those, and they seem to be doing well. And actually, Fulton's bean garden, 2 rows of bean plants, a total of, as I can see, 6 plants. One of them got pulled, and the instructions say to thin them. Anyway, the rest I'm going to leave and let Fulton decide if he wants to pull any more when he gets back. I think they're young enough he could still do that. If any, I would take that one out right in the middle of those 3. But the leaves are pretty holy because the bugs have gotten to them. And I hope that they're still okay and they don't die. I don't think they will, but we'll see. And that's the gardening for today, 13th of June, 2011.